Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to my video, which is kind of like an ultimate guide to Warwick Castle. So Warwick Castle is very unsurprisingly located in the town of Warwick. It was built by William the Conqueror in 1068 and honestly it is one of my favourite castles to visit in the entirety of the UK. It's just so different to so many other castles you'll see because it's been completely restored pretty much. Even the interior fittings are still completely intact and there's just so much amazing history to learn, not only about Warwick Castle but about the entirety of England history itself. And there's also some pretty amazing views from the ramparts as well over the town of Warwick, which definitely helps. So I'm going to split this video into three sections. Firstly, I'm going to kind of give you a bit of a travel guide, and then I'm going to go into the history and I'm going to tell you some of my favourite things that I learned as I was going around the castle. And finally, I'm going to finish off the video with a short review of what I thought of it and if I suggest that you visit. So without further ado, let's begin the travel guide. So as I said, Warwick Castle is located in the town of Warwick, which is a pretty incredible town in itself, to be honest. I'm going to make a video very soon about the top 10 things to do in Warwick. So if you're intrigued by that, feel free to subscribe and stick around, it'll be up very soon. So it costs around £17 to go inside Warwick Castle if you pay in advance online. If you want to pay on the door, it's about £24. And I would recommend having at least 4 hours there. But when I say 4 hours and when I say at least, I kind of mean at least, because that's kind of without sitting down, rushing around as fast as you can to see everything as quick as you possibly can. So I would actually suggest having a whole day here. There's easily so many things to do and so much grounds to explore that you wouldn't have time to do in 4 hours. So as you enter through the main gate, there's a little kids play area and a maze on your left hand side as you're walking towards the main gate of the castle. And in the summer there are loads of events and just so many tents and everything happening on the grounds. Obviously it's completely empty here. That is because of two reasons. Firstly, because we went on a freezing day in November, and secondly, because we went one day before the lockdown started here. So yeah, don't judge on this kind of dead scene that you're seeing here. Usually there's kind of bird shows, there's an archery range going on, and there's just so much entertainment on every corner that these grounds kind of really make you feel like you are in a bustling medieval castle, which is incredible. There's also a lot of really nice walks around the grounds, as I said earlier, and there is a castle as well, which has a castle? Of course there's a castle. I mean cafe. There's also a cafe as well which contains a really good menu, and next to the cafe there is a peacock garden. But to be honest, you'll probably see peacocks walking around anyway because they are absolutely everywhere. Hello buddy. Ellie, no. Don't scare it. That's childish.
I just don't want to touch it.
You can't touch it. You're never going to touch it. You're trying to trick it into thinking you're a peacock as well. Oh, I'm so surprised.
I retreat.
I see you laughing. That's what you get.
Shut up.
So they occasionally have jousting events on in the summer, and they also have a fully functioning trebuchet that they sometimes fire off at certain events. So if you're interested in that stuff, definitely check out the website before you go, see what days this stuff is on. I've seen it once when I was a kid, and yeah, it was pretty awesome. So inside the actual walls of the castle, there is also loads to see. For an extra cost, you can go into the Warwick Castle dungeon. I haven't been there recently, but I remember going into the dungeons as a kid and being absolutely terrified, but in a good way. So don't worry, it was really fun, but yeah, terrifying in a good way. So in my second part of the video, I'm going to talk about the incredible history, section by section, of all of those parts of the castle, and I'm going to tell you some of my favourite things that you can see and do as you explore. So first, let's begin going way back to the town of Warwick in general. So the town of Warwick was first established by Ethelfled, which is the daughter of Alfred the Great, and it was established in 914 AD, and it was a very strong commercial and defensive town right in the centre of Mercia, which was one of the old four kingdoms of England. The first part of the castle was built in 1068 by William the Conqueror, and it was originally a motte and bailey castle. And you can still see the original hill here where the keep was originally located. From the top of this hill hill you get incredible views over all of the surroundings, and there's also a lot of information about them. And what you can see here is the trebuchet in the field where the jousting tournaments are held. So from here you can walk along the ramparts and climb up every single one of the towers of the castle. So there's about 500 steps to climb up and around the ramparts. 500 steps.
Yeah, that's a task.
That's a lot of steps, right?
Yes, it's like 500 of them.
And you don't like exercise, right?
I like to be fat.
Guy's Tower is a staggering 39 metres high, and you can see the entire town of Warwick as well as down into the castle courtyard from here. Along the ramparts you'll also learn the incredible story of the Beauchamp family, who were the famous historical owners of the castle, which I'm going to give you a short history of now because I really enjoyed the story of this family. There were a lot of parts of it that just kind of, I'd never linked in my mind before now, and it was just a bit like, kind of mind-blowing. So the Beauchamp family became a prominent family after the Norman conquest of England and actually led King Edward I's invasion of Wales. He became the 9th owner of Warwick because of this, as well as the owner of Warwick Castle. So the castle was in a very bad state at the time because the owners of Kenilworth Castle, which I mentioned earlier, had actually come and destroyed the wall that you can see here. This is a video from inside that wall, and you can actually see some of the oldest original stonework of the castle right here. In the 14th century, the Beauchamps actually started to gradually restore the castle to its former glory, and they also built the Great Halls, which are what you can see here. At this point on our little ramparts walk, we approach the main tower of Warwick Castle, which is called Guy's Tower. So it's named after Guy Beauchamp, who was the 10th Earl of Warwick. He was known in history as the Black Hound, and I thought the story of how he got this nickname was pretty incredible. It's kind of like something out of Game of Thrones. So Guy Beauchamp was originally King Edward II's leading magnate, but he actually fell out of favour with King Edward II and got ousted as the magnate and replaced by someone else. Because of this, he actually kidnapped and executed the king's new magnate that replaced him. Here we are right now at the top of Guy's Tower. Behind me you can see the entire town of Warwick. There is St Mary's Church, which is actually home to the grave of Guy Beauchamp, where he was buried. You get an epic view over the entirety of Warwick from here. So the towers of the castle were completed by Thomas Beauchamp in 1395, and his son Richard Beauchamp was a big supporter of the brand new king Henry V. He was one of his most prestigious captains. Another interesting fact that I learned on the way around, which was just kind of really mind-blowing, was that in 1430 Joan of Arc was actually brought to Richard Beauchamp's residence, and he was actually the man behind her subsequent execution, which is just two things that I actually just never thought were linked together. So when I found out about that, I was pretty mind-blown, to be honest. So the last Earl of the Beauchamp family was Henry, but after this came the downfall of the Beauchamps. So what happened is a combination of events. Firstly, King Henry VI died, and they were also left without a male heir. So his sister Anne inherited the castle and married a powerful man called Richard Neville. And Richard Neville went on to become the 16th Earl of Warwick and the new most powerful nobleman in England. And these are some powers that he would go on to exploit in the very famous War of the Roses, which I'm going to talk about very soon. Fun fact, the War of the Roses was the real historical battle that the Game of Thrones battle, the War of Five Kings, was completely based on. I learned that a few years ago, and to be honest, hearing it again in the castle, I just thought I have to bring that up because I love that fact. So we're going to move on from the ramparts now and from the history of the Beauchamps, and we're going to go to the Kingmaker. So the Kingmaker is another segment of the castle, and it's an interactive experience about Richard Neville and his preparations for the Battle of Barnet in 1471, which is a big part of the War of the Roses.
Long live King Henry!
He was fighting on the side of the Lancastrians, and he was fighting against the House of York. And again, if you're thinking those names sound very much like Lannister and Stark from Game of Thrones, you'll be right. They are, again, direct references. So as you go through this interactive exhibition, you learn what it would have been like to be in the castle whilst they were preparing for war. And to be honest, it is really well made. You do actually start to feel as if you are part of some sort of castle preparations with, you know, the incredible soundtrack, the wax figures, and sort of the speech that you hear as you go around. It's just a really great place to explore. So from here, we now move on to the final part of the castle itself, which is the Great Hall. Now, this is the part of the castle that's fitted with very ornate interiors, and it tells you the later history of Warwick Castle, so we're kind of talking about the 1800s now. As you first go in, you'll see this incredible hall, And the first thing I noticed was this amazing looking buffet, as it's called, and it represents a love story between Queen Elizabeth I and Robert Dudley of Kenilworth Castle. It was carved from a single oak tree in 1851, and it represents Queen Elizabeth's visit to Kenilworth in 1575. And if you look close enough, you can actually see William Shakespeare carved into one of the corners. So this hall is my favourite room, I think, of the entire castle, just because of all the amazing stuff here. Next to the wooden carving is the death mask of Oliver Cromwell. What this is, it was a plaster cast taken of Cromwell's face just days after he died, and I just found that so mind-blowing, as you can see every detail down to the tiny little mole above his eyebrow. And next to this is also the armour of Richard Beauchamp. You remember him? He is referred to as the greatest jouster in history, and apparently he was never beaten, which to be honest is a pretty epic legacy. There was a fire in these halls in 1871, but luckily most of the interior furnishings were saved and are still on show today. The rooms are so mind-blowing in themselves and also so decorative. It's very full of wax models from history, including a model of Winston Churchill as well as Edward the Prince of Wales. It also has some incredible artwork as you walk around, as well as some of the best stained glass windows that I have ever seen. And that pretty much sums up all of the parts of the castle. There is an old mill and engine room that you can visit. Unfortunately, when I last went, they were closed. But when I went before, when I was younger, I remember going down, and that was really great in itself. It's right by the river, so you get some really great scenery and learn about the old mill. But now, let's move on to my final part of the video, which is my review. So unsurprisingly, I would definitely recommend Warwick Castle. I think it's one of the top tourist attractions in England for a very good reason. I know the tickets may seem quite expensive, but in my opinion it is worth every penny because you can easily spend an entire day here. And with it being located so central in the town of Warwick, as well as some incredible surroundings, it's kind of like an entire trip in itself. That's why this place definitely earns a place on my top 10 travel list that you can see here. If you like some of the other things on my top 10 list, feel free to check out the rest of my channel because I have made videos on a lot of them. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're thinking of visiting Warwick, then Warwick Castle is definitely a must. So thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.